Welcome to the YouTube channel. We're doing a special series about the future of social media. In this session, we're talking about the future of Twitter, and I've got my friend Kenny Jang with us.
Good to be here.
You got to do the future thing.
The future.
So we are talking about the future of Twitter. Twitter, just to give a few stats, Kenny, 336 million monthly active users, 100 million daily active users. About 80% of Twitter users are using Twitter on their mobile app. And so that's the state of Twitter. Twitter has actually moved into the news apps. Twitter is where people get their news today. That's what Twitter is. It was honestly like the hot social network like 10 years ago. And it was kind of like Twitter or Facebook. Well, you're talking 336 million versus 3 billion just about on Facebook. They're not comparable. They're two different apps used in different ways.
Well, no, let's just hold it there, though.
Yes.
I would say some Twitter fans, and I'm a Twitter fan, it's not my favorite network anymore. However, I would say some Twitter fans would say it's not the number that counts. It's the stature or the authority of the people on the number. So that 300 million are the right people. It's the journalists, it's the institution, it's the influence, the real influencers versus, what is it, 2-point-something billion on Facebook. It's just anybody and everybody down the block, right? And so not everyone is at that same worthiness of contributing to a community, contributing to publishing, contributing to news.
Well, and when you think about, like, I'm a sports fan. If I want to hear sports advice, or if I want to hear sports like Antonio Brown, there's big drama lately in sports, I got to hear directly from Antonio Brown rather than what the media chose to tell me through his Twitter or through his Instagram. And Twitter, and I think we can't talk about Twitter without talking about Donald Trump. So Donald Trump has loved Twitter. I think we all know that. It is a new day. Imagine if George Washington could tweet, if Abraham Lincoln could tweet that media is controlled. I went to the museum not too long ago in Washington, D.C., and a lot of it talked about how much social media has influenced news. And I think Twitter is foundational for how we get news today.
Well, even there was, I think, a great article talking about how there's a large percentage of Twitter users or people consuming Twitter content not from a device, not from their own accounts, but through the TV, through the lower thirds, because news outlets are constantly showing Twitter feeds. And so there's this little conundrum where people are using the platform's ability to communicate, but they're not engaging in interaction directly. What do you do with that? That's a little bit odd.
It's interesting, and it's hard to know what to do with all of this. I think Twitter's gone through some interesting paths as well. One of the reasons I'm a big fan of Twitter is because Jack.
Good Jack.
Jack on Twitter I think he's a great leader, really innovative leader, but they bought Vine and shut it down. They bought Periscope. They didn't shut it down, but it was like
strangled it.
It was the beginning of social life. And now it's
well, Jack was away for a while, right? He's got the second company. And now he's back. It's kind of like the return of Steve Jobs to the homeland.
He's been back for a while. I don't think Twitter, so at the end of the day, let's talk about where Twitter's going. I don't think Twitter is dying. I don't think Twitter is going away. I think Twitter is stable. But is Twitter going to take off? Where should leaders be thinking to invest in the future with Twitter?
Well, this is what I'm seeing now, and this is my hypothesis. If we had to have another prediction episode for the next year, is that we're playing musical chairs in the social media game. And what's happening right now is, you're right, Twitter's not going to die. You have enough establishments and influencers invested in the platform, and there's enough good core content there. A lot of spam. They got to figure all that out. They've increased the character count, so you actually have conversations now. But I think the narrative here, watch this trick. What's happening is you've got Twitter, you've got LinkedIn, and they're switching places.
Interesting.
LinkedIn used to be the place where you got to have an account. It is respectable. It's not like MySpace. It's not going to disappear. You still need to pay attention to it. It's got some formidable power there, but it's not the place to go. Today, I think those two are switching places, and the prominence that Twitter had in everyone's life, LinkedIn is going to take over, and Twitter is it's gonna basically go to the back of the shelf, basically.
Interesting. To me, it already feels like it's on the back of the shelf, and maybe it's just going to go further back on the shelf, and it's going to just be there. And I think what we're seeing in the world of social media is there's Facebook, and then there's niche social networks. And so Pinterest is for maybe crafts and recipes, where LinkedIn is for business interactions, Nextdoor is for your neighborhoods, and Twitter's for your news, and it just kind of fits into that niche.
I think it's news, but also I think it is one of those places that has the pure appeal of social media is the democratization of relationships, meaning I can access anyone out there as long as I can actually prove my value.
Yeah.
Right? And so whether it's Rick Warren that I've direct messaged with, which in the back of seminary class, or if it was the director of Frozen, the movie Frozen, the Hollywood blockbuster hit, coming home from the movie theater, my kids had a Twitter exchange with Jennifer Lee directly. Yeah. That access is something that Twitter provides that I don't know, are there other networks that provide that level of direct access?
Yeah, and I would say Instagram does, and you slide into the DMs, and you're seeing Instagram taking over that opportunity for access. And that's what's interesting is Facebook Live kind of stole the thunder from Periscope. You see Instagram with the DMs stealing some of that engagement, and LinkedIn stealing a lot of that business connection engagement. And so it does feel like there are other people pulling things from Twitter that is stealing the unique value of Twitter. Now, I do think that you use, and I would say the gold mine that Twitter sits on is Donald Trump. And so as we look at the future, if we're going into a political season, people are paying attention, and they're looking at following not just Donald Trump, but other candidates, to hear directly from the candidates and to connect with them in a way where it's not filtered through mass media. And so I think tagging onto that, I would say the other thing is social experiences, the way that you can connect in a conversation with the hashtag at conferences, with television shows, with sporting events. I think there's a lot of value there. I think that's still where Twitter owns that space, where you can hashtag an Instagram, but it's just a photo. It's really not about a conversation. So I think that unique aspect of conversations that are collective in that way with people you might not know, but you tie into is a unique value proposition. But I would say their differentiated value proposition continues to diminish, and time will tell. A lot of conversations that don't get acquired, or Google could have acquired.
It's all Jack. We're waiting on Jack, basically.
And I believe in you, Jack. I believe in you. I can't wait to see where Twitter goes. I hope you don't abandon Twitter yet, but I think what I'm hearing in this conversation is the future of Twitter is unknown. And if I were to say this is where you should invest right now, and looking to the future, Twitter might not be at the top of that list. They're actually not going to be at the top of that list. That's my 2 cents. I hope that helps you as a leader in whatever organization you're leading better understand the future of social media and the future of Twitter. Kenny, thanks so much for watching us. Follow Kenny at Kenny Jang on social media, or just Google him. You'll find all kinds of great content. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think of the future of Twitter. Do you think the future of Twitter is bright? Do you think it's gloom? We'll see. Let us know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching.